Look, I've been involved in many organisational change projects over my time, and one of the key components of that type of project is engagement of not only the project team, but the people who are impacted and affected by the outcomes of the change. One project in particular, I was the project manager for the trial site, a pilot site here in Brisbane, and we trialled that for about 3 months. It was extremely successful, and then we were asked to roll that out nationally. Now, the model that we had here in Brisbane worked very effectively. We had some really good new processes, new methods in place that allowed this to happen. And then we were asked to implement and execute this thing nationally. And I guess in terms of a human resource win, particularly on this project, we really had to come back and go, right, why would the regions want to take this on board? What are the benefits for them to do that? So from a change management and a project management perspective, we had to come back to the reason why people would want to go and make this change. So we got some good comms people involved. We had some pretty switched on senior managers within the group. And essentially we came up with a plan on how to sell this to the business. And that involved a national roadshow where we went to each of the 7 regions and we explained to them why we're doing this from a strategic point of view, what the benefit to their region was going to be. And you know, there was definitely some impacts around people and reduction in staff, but there was positive impacts around what it was going to add to their business as well. Now, walking into some of those environments on day one was not very good. It was pretty challenging because they weren't that interested to see us, and secondly, they didn't believe that what we were doing was a benefit to them. The whole that national roadshow turned people's opinions around of why they need to progress that way. You know, and change brings around, or change is something that's embedded in pretty much everything that we do these days, and it's rapidly changing. So they understood that without taking this change on board, that it was going to be, you know, potentially a bit of a death knell for them in their region. So they were convinced that they had to go and do something. So from a point of view of a HR component, we got the right people involved at the right time to speak to the right people and sell what we're trying to do. It then turned into, right, how do we then get these regions at an individual level to deliver these projects, to understand our model that we had here in Brisbane and convey that in a way that they can then interpret that and embed that back in their own organisations. So what we did, we set up individual regional teams, and they all came up to Brisbane. They saw the model up here, they saw how it worked, they got down and understood the mechanics of it. We went through a fairly significant training component with them, and established their own mini projects teams within their region. So they essentially were duplicating what we did up here in Brisbane, and it was about training them and providing them with the support that they need to then go back into their own regions and deliver that. You know, what underpinned the success of that project was, you know, we had a vision for the overall project and it was well communicated. People took it on board pretty quickly, and then once we set those project teams up, we had some really key people who helped drive the project. So there was good sponsorship, good governance involved, and also we had key roles, and those roles were clearly defined right at the front of the project. And then those roles were filled with the right people. And if you can get those components right around role clarity, what we're here to do and when, and you've got some enthusiasm and can build motivation, I think they're the key successes of any project team. And certainly it was those underlying things that really drove the success of that fairly large, complex organisational change project.